let's get started officially. My name is 𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬, and I'm here on behalf of Noirledge Publishing. Yes, a very fantastic, wonderful independent publishing house situated right here in Ibadan. We have published several award-winning books across the globe, and of course, it's been a wonderful journey, and it's a pleasure to have with us right here with us on this interactive session, Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele, the author of Business Strategy Manual. Good day to you, Doctor. Such a pleasure to have you join us today.
Good day to you, 𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐲'𝐬. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure too. Good day, everybody, everywhere.
All right, so let's get started then. Like we announced, the theme for the interactive session is business strategy for surviving today's economy. But let's not start from there. Let's start from you, Doctor. You've written several books, of course, interesting, beautiful books. But then out of the blues, you decided to write a book about business strategy manual. What inspired you to write the book, sir?
Well, thank you so very much. I wouldn't consider it to be out of the blue, because if you look at my first book, Thoughts of the Village Boy, there are some chapters there where I discuss business issues. Actually, that first book is kind of a book that contains so many things. Then over time, I started publishing some business articles in newspaper. I could recollect one of the editors calling me and say, "Oh, hey, this thing you are saying is good for the business, but how about so many small businesses that they do not have opportunity, or they don't have the means to hire consultants to do most of this thing you are suggesting in most of your article? What do you do for them?" I said, "Okay, maybe I put on my thinking cap. I said, maybe let me write a book about business. I practice accounting, for over 3 decades. I've had experiences in this terrain. I've run business myself. I have had some failures. I've had some moderate successes in running business." I said, "Okay, why not me share my experience with people across the board?" So that's why I said, "Okay, let me write this book and make it as simple as possible, and not too voluminous either, that a business owner can just speak and gloss through and get some idea from it."
Beautiful. And just in case someone is out there wondering what the book looks like, this is the book Business Strategy Manual by Dr. himself, Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele. Just in case you're wondering what the book looks like, this is the book. Again, it's called Business Strategy Manual, published by Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele. Now, let's move on, Doctor. Let's talk about the economy. Today's economy, especially here in Nigeria, despite the fact that so many people will have one or two things to say. Of course, everyone will have something to say. It's the economy. It affects everyone at different points in their life. But from your own end, as someone who is widely read and who has, written several stuff and who has done several research, how would you describe, in your own words, how would you describe today's economy in Nigeria?
The global economy is in turmoil. No doubt about that. But the peculiar situation in Nigeria is like Nigeria economy is not well structured. And because it's not well structured, the impact of the global economic crisis seems to be a bit more devastating on Nigerian and on Nigerians. So that's what I would say. Everywhere, for instance, food inflation is almost everywhere now, even in the advanced countries. But when you look at the situation in Nigeria, it's a bit more pitiable, because we do not have that structure that can mitigate against certain things.
Interesting. Okay, let's get into more depth about the economy, and specifically this session is for small and medium-sized enterprises, so that it can be able to get wisdom and building resilience. So, in your book, Business Strategy Manual, you spoke about innovation and creativity. In uncertain times, and of course, which is something you described just now when you spoke about the economy, that it's not well structured, which means that it's going to bring about certain uncertainties. But then you wrote about creativity, innovation in your book, Business Strategy Manual. So the question now will be that what practical approaches would you give to small and medium-sized enterprises in Nigeria in terms of deploying creativity and innovation for business?
Well, thank you very much for that question. As is often said, necessity is the mother of invention. If you can draw a mind back during COVID, the world was shut down unexpectedly, and people have to devise
Mm-hmm.
means to survive. So when you have to survive, you have to be creative, you have to be innovative. And if you look at the presence of life, like now, I learned that sachet water is going on. You are looking for a way whereby you can reduce your cost so that you can still be viable, you can still be able to sell. So yeah, when there is issue, when there are challenges, you have to find means of resolving those challenges. That is where innovation comes in. That is where creativity comes in. How do you survive? Because the first instinct in nature is ability to survive. So as a business owner, you want to think, okay, prices of things, inputs are increasing, so but I need to live. So what do I do? I mean, sometimes you may wish want to change your business model altogether just to ensure that you survive. So that is where creativity comes in because there is a necessity for it, and things are no longer working as it used to be. So you have no choice than to put on your thinking caps and think what you can do next to keep you afloat.
Still dwelling on creativity and innovation, I'm hoping that we can get it more practical, just so that the owners of small businesses and medium-sized businesses that are watching this will be able to at least maybe you spoke about thinking, because sometimes people may think that they are thinking, but not necessarily thinking. So to put it more practically, I'm thinking like this: like for example, let's say that we have a fashion designer, all right, who's waiting for clothes to sew clothes, but then suddenly has to go to the market to price materials, but then we see jumping prices and all of that. How would you advise such person to deploy creativity and innovation in terms of boosting sales and surviving the times?
Yeah, boosting sale. Let me start with boosting sale. I know one of the major challenges we have in the economy now is this, daily, almost daily, if not hourly increments in prices of inputs and all that. But let's say as a fashion designer now, there's a limit to which you can continue to increase the price of your service. You get to a point that people will no longer patronize you. I don't always advise that you compromise quality, but you look at what you can do best. Maybe for instance, you use a heavy duty iron to iron your clothes, and when there's no electricity, you have to put on generator. Rather than using that, you can think, okay, why don't I go back to old charcoal iron? It may be a bit crude, but it's going to save you a lot of money. Or I've seen
Interesting.
people where you see them, they put use iron, damaged iron, they put it on a stove, to get heat, to iron the cloth. So far it is not going to bring dirt to the cloth. So you inadvertently you are reducing your cost. And when you're able to reduce your cost, those little elements of reduction here and there will help you to be okay, whatever you are charging your customer, your clients, you will still be able to make some little profit here and there. So when price keep on increasing, you have to understand the kind of business you do. Is it all the time that you can pass on the increments to customers? There are times you may also, okay, why not let me reduce my profit margin so that I can continue to have something to live with? I know every business want to make profit, but then sometimes you may have to reduce your profit, your profit margin in order to to continue to have patronage. I read recently that Mishai, these people that said, egg, bread, and tea in the garage, the mala and everything, they were complaining of low patronage because every day you go there to go and enjoy the little change in your pocket with Mishai, the price has doubled. And one thing I will also say about Nigeria is like we don't even, I don't think the way we increase prices is always reasonable. We always like to double our price because something, an input increased by maybe by 10% or 20%. The next thing we charge, our charges will increase by 100%. So it get to a point that the customer say, I can't afford this again. So I either do away with, do without this, or I look for alternatives. So when you look at all this, you have to think of, okay, what can I do to save? You have maybe as a fashion designer example you use, You have two machines, one use electricity, is faster. Then you use the other one that is manual. Sometimes, some work, you better do it, use manual machine. Yeah, it has more intensive labor, but that way you are incurring less on electricity. So that will enable you to at least be able to cover your costs. Yeah, those are the little things you can do here and there to ensure that even if you are reducing your profit margin, you are still able to make something out of your labor or out of your product.
Thank you for that beautiful practical approach. Honestly, it was an in-depth one, and that's what we are hoping that this session will be able to will do to the businesses that we're trying to attract here. Practical steps. Now, still talking about the details in the book, Business Strategy Manual. And for anyone who's just joining in, who's wondering about the book we're talking about, this is the book, Business Strategy Manual, written by Dr. Bolutefe Oluwadele, Business Strategy Manual. Now, in the book, you spoke about risk management and the types of risks a small and medium-sized business may encounter. All right. But what would you say is the most prominent of all risks that most Nigerian small and medium scale businesses face today? And what will be the best approach in dealing with this risk, sir?
Well, if you permit me, I will say, most of the time, like I said in the book, most of this kind of business owner, they seem to neglect the issue of risk at all. They don't even think about it at all. Let's say, for instance, today, if they increase, I'm not praying for that, they increase pump price of petroleum, which is a major input, by 10%. The next day you go to the garage, you go to the motor park, the transportation cost will increase by 100%. So you see this, distortions between what input was increased and what the transporter is charging. And because transporter, they don't work as individual, they work as a group. So they have this group influence on other people. Now, what it costs you to transport your goods from one point to the other, you wake up one morning and it has doubled. So, and yes, because they increased price of petroleum price by 10%, what we have always seen is the situation that the transporter will just double the price. And because probably you don't have a choice, you have to absorb that cost. So these are the kind of risk that is beyond your control that business owners don't prepare for. They just wake up one day and they discover that their input has increased, and that's keep them in some of them in jeopardy. Actually, some businesses have collapsed because of this. They can no longer pass on the excess burden to their customers. So that's one fundamental risk. Again, running business in Nigeria, their incidences of theft is also very high, especially those who run food business. When you are running a food business, there are so many loopholes, there are so many avenues that people can steal and fleece you. So all these are risks that business owners face. There are businesses that the moment the owner step out, you have happy hands that are helping you. They will sell in cash and claim that they've sold on credit. They just probably doing what we call teaming and leading, stealing your money. We had the story of somebody who's running poultry in Nigeria, whereby some of the staff were burying eggs in the sand, only to pack them when they are going home. Jeopardizing the profit capability of the poultry owners. There are so many of all these issues that the business owner, especially the small medium enterprise, they face in Nigeria, and which when they go to business, they don't even take this into account. So those are risks that you have to sit there as much as possible and calculate how do I mitigate against this. I was telling somebody a few days ago that look, we should also be thinking of taking insurance maybe to cover all these things. But the guy was telling me insurance does not cover theft. I said, well, maybe we also have to ask our insurance people to become more creative, whereby because most of these businesses in Nigeria, as I know, most of small businesses, they are confronted with the issue of theft of cash, theft of product, and so many things, diversion of product. Insurance should be able to create a way in which they can successfully cover this, at least to reduce the mortality rate of small and medium enterprises in Nigeria.
Beautiful one, sir. You spoke about insurance, and one of the things I feel it's also a major challenge for small and medium-sized businesses is getting insurance. What will be the best approach in navigating this? Because insurance is very important also, especially in terms of mitigating against risk. But then what would you advise? Since insurance may be a challenge, since it's still a business that is sort of still gaining ground.
Well, let me be the last advocate here. There's a problem of perception with insurance businesses in Nigeria. There is the perception there's a lack of trust, if I want to be a bit brutal. Most people don't trust insurance companies because they will tell you that when it is time to make claim, they will come with all sort of rules, out of the tiny letters, a lot of conditions that were not clearly explained. So many people, many businesses, even individuals, don't trust insurance that much. So I think insurance has to do a lot of more of public advocacy to ensure that they can gain back the trust of the populace, especially the business community. If this perception is not reduced or find a way of if it doesn't go away, businesses, even when the facilities are there to do insurance, they will not want to do it. Or some of them also will also consider insurance as additional cost to them. Except they see the benefits that in case something happens, the benefit outweigh the cost. So I think the insurance companies, I'm not speaking with them, should also put on their thinking cap. They should be more creative, they should be more innovative. They should also speak to the perception of this lack of trust in their services, in their contribution to the economy. They have to do something about it themselves, so that they can create that a kind of a better understanding among the business community.
Thank you very much for that one, sir. And for the benefit of anyone or everyone who is joining now, I want to specially welcome you to the live interactive session with Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele on the theme business strategy for surviving today's economy. It is our hope that as you join in and as you go on from here, you'll have developed more capacity, you'll have gained more wisdom, and of course gain a wisdom that will help you build resilience through the times, especially now that everything is everything is shaky. But we are hoping that as we gain knowledge and wisdom, all will go well and can gain resilience. And of course, everything we're talking about is still in light of the book written by Dr. Bolutife himself, Business Strategy Manual. And we've been trying to gain knowledge and perspective from the book so far. And it has been such a joy having Dr. Bolutife right here with us. And we have to move on now.